between the two of us. So, if you have any questions for me, please go ahead. Let's start straight away with the questions rather than just, me talking about whatever, uh, my assumptions would be the questions, but rather let's start with any questions that you may have.
Sure, and Amy, that's exactly what we've done as well. So even when we ask students to register, and in general when we've been speaking to students and parents, there are some specific questions that always get asked about the liberal arts education and about Ashoka as well. And we have collated some of those main questions, and we would like to go over some of those, and of course then take questions from the audience directly. So I would like to put up the first question here, which we often get asked, and that is, could you please explain how the liberal arts degree works? Students often ask, will I get a BA in liberal arts, or will I get a BA in a particular subject? Will it be a BSc? Will it be a BA? How will it get decided? What is the degree that I'm going to get? And how will the 3 or 3+1, education work for me?
Sure. This is a great place to start. First of all, I'm sure that people here on the forum would already have an inkling of what liberal arts is, and also the fact that there isn't a clear, a clear demarcation between the humanities and the sciences and the social sciences, but rather it's a very beautiful mix of all the three. If we were to even talk about liberal education in general, and then we of course at Ashoka University we realize this. If we can go to the next slide, we realize this through our focus on breadth as well as depth of education, which is the foundation of any self-respecting liberal arts education anywhere in the world. So at Ashoka, you would be getting a BA honors or a BSc honors in a discipline of your choosing. And this gets broken down into foundation courses, your major, which is your degree course, an optional minor, a possible minor in any other course, and your co-curricular, because we are also in compliance with the UGC, with the University Grants Commission of India, which requires every undergraduate student or every graduate of any university to have at least 1 degree and 2 co-curricular courses. So, and in keeping with that, we have offered co-curricular courses as well. And then we have the optional 4th year program, which is a postgraduate research program, which gives you an extra diploma. This enables you to do 2 or 3 very key things that help you in your either going for a higher education institution for your advanced studies, or even it shows up really well on your CV when you're applying for a job later. So just to show you how that breaks down in the next slide, we first begin with foundation courses. So this gives you the bar of your T. So in a T-shaped education, or in an education which has breadth as well as depth.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, yeah, no worries. So we have a breadth of education, which is taken care of when we look at the foundation courses. So these are 9 fundamental courses that every Ashoka student, whether they have a science background, whether they have a humanities or a commerce background, because in India and in many parts of Southeast Asia and South Asia, we are. It's very easy for us to right after the 10th, or maybe nowadays schools, students in schools from all over, right from their 8th or 9th, they start thinking about what they're going to do in their 11th, and which can be quite dangerous, and which I'm very glad that the new education policy now has addressed and said that even a student of physics will be able to take up history along with their physics. So there's no clear demarcation, and this array of foundation courses is in order to give students a broad aspect, a broad introduction, a very, very relevant introduction into what the world, how the world works today around them. So even if you're a student of computer science, you will understand what it is to think, politically, or what a social construct is, what what is the meaning of economics today, how it's applicable. So this is offered by the best faculty at Ashoka. And in your very first semester, students, deep dive into their foundation courses. And then from their second semester, they take a mixture of their foundation courses and their majors and minors. So their foundation courses, as you can see here in Indian civilization, for example, your professor might be doing something like deconstructing Mangal Pandey and whether he was actually a brave martyr or was he an accidental hero. In economics and society, your professor might be talking about the economics of dating and whether you can apply that into your actual life or later on when you try to find a life partner for yourself. In quantitative thinking, your professor might be introducing you to the concept of coding. Whether you're from humanities or any other background, you will have a good strong foundation in quantitative knowledge, and also maybe find out see that there's a correlation between Greek mythology and cryptography. In literature and the world, you might be finding out whether Shakespeare has anything to do with Bollywood, and so on. There's so many of them. But to go to the next slide, in your second semester, you will be doing. You'll have to press the slide again because this is a transition thing. So yeah. So then we come into your majors and minors and your co-curriculars as well. So your majors are as we have said, your degree courses. So at Ashoka, you will have the choice of choosing from 21 different disciplines. And in the true spirit of a liberal arts university, you will have 1.5 years to choose what it is that you're actually going to major in. So only at the end of 3 semesters, and even if you entered Ashoka, because everybody has the same application form. So you fill in your preferences and you indicate your preferences, but that's just it. Those are indications and nothing more. You won't be held to them. As long as you fulfill the criteria. For example, if you want to do chemistry, you will have to have chemistry in your 11th and 12th. If you want to do economics, you need to have done math in your 11th and 12th, etc. Physics, it's physics and mathematics. But for the rest, including biology, there are no pre-requirements. So you may have, decided very early on that you wanted to do only English, but actually find through a foundation course, perhaps, that you really, really have woken up to the world of psychology or biology or any other discipline, and then decide to minor in it, or even do a complete 360 and decide to major in that subject instead. So we even have students who had decided to major in physics, who have majored in creative writing and instead minoring in physics also, or instead. So those are some really wonderful stories, and there's a lot of students like that as well. And then, of course, we come to the minors. So you can choose, so minors are completely optional. Your degree is complete in 3 years without a minor, but of course, it's good to show intellectual diversity when you're applying for a job later or for a higher education institution. So if you are curious and you want to explore that curiosity, you can choose a minor from anywhere, any of these in the third column or any of these pure majors in the first column as well. And then, of course, you have the option of choosing any two. You can do more, but you will have to choose 2 from these co-curriculars, which are basically a mixture of an art form, a practical and theoretical training in an art form or a language. So just going on to the next slide, I think we have the 4th year. So coming to the 4th year, this is something that you can leverage very well. A lot of our students go abroad, after they graduate from Ashoka. So this helps you complete your 16 years of education, first of all, so that you can apply to a good university in the US, for example. Secondly, if you have had a minor earlier, you can actually take that, that 4th year and convert it into a full-fledged major and graduate at the end of 4 years with a double bachelor's degree. And the third thing that you can do also is you can also do more research. And this is also a welcome change in the new education policy as well, that you can also do a 4th year there. So this is, this is something that you can do advanced research. You can also be studying alongside some of the PhD students on campus as well, and write a long paper. If your long paper is of good academic standing, for example, you wouldn't even need to go for a master's and an MPhil. You may actually be accepted in a fully funded PhD program, even at an institution like Oxford, for example, which some of our students have managed to do. So
Wow.
that is a little bit about the first question, my answer to your first question.
Right, and thank you so much, Amy. That was, very, very well explained. In fact, when you were talking about, students coming in thinking that they're going to study a particular thing and then graduating with a completely different subject, even during your summer programs, even during your summer school programs, I've had students who've come and told me that I never knew I'm going to enjoy history so much. I'm probably now thinking about studying history, at an undergrad level. And that's, the beauty of exploratory programs like the liberal arts itself. There was just one more question about, what degree am I going to get per se? So you did explain the BA, BSc, but if you could also address, you know, a lot of students ask, will I get a BA in liberal arts?
So no. So it'll be, so liberal arts, especially when the whole university is a liberal arts university like Ashoka, your entire curriculum, everything that you study, whether it's computer science or physics or history, it will be a liberal arts degree anyway. So when you do, if we could, just go back to the previous slide, if we could, if you get, if you're doing mathematics, for example, at Ashoka, you'll be getting a BSc honors in mathematics. If you're doing economics, a pure major, which is basically a single major, a single subject, then you'll be getting a BA honors in economics. If you're doing an interdisciplinary major, which as the name suggests is two or more disciplines that are closely related, then if you're doing economics and finance, then it'll be a BSc honors in economics and finance. So there is no separate degree in liberal arts as such. All your degrees, whether it's a BSc in physics or a BA in English, they're all liberal arts degrees. So I hope that's clear.
Right, and that also puts them at par with a BSc or a BA in their respective subjects had they graduated from a mainstream university.
Absolutely, yes.
Right? All right, great. So that was definitely a question that was on a lot of our students and parents' minds. So I'm happy that we've addressed that. So swiftly moving on to the next question, which is again, a much asked and wondered about question, which is if Ashoka offers financial aid or scholarships, and if yes, what would be the criteria to then achieve those scholarships or financial aid?
Sure. So, definitely, so Ashoka, while we are a private university, we are a philanthropic university at the same time. So it's a not-for-profit philanthropic initiative. And currently with more than 100 founders, we are India's largest philanthropic initiative. So this means that while being private, it operates in a slightly different manner. And and the generosity of these founders has enabled us to offer some of the most substantial financial aid in the country. 1 out of every 2 students, actually avail of financial aid, anywhere from 25% fee waiver to 100% or more fee waiver. So our financial aid, if we can go to the next slide, our financial aid is basically given completely on the basis of need or on the student's family. So this means that first of all, there's a couple of things that this addresses, which is that number one, we do not have a merit-based financial aid system or financial aid process because of the fact that we don't have a separate quota system. So every student who gets in to Ashoka gets in on their merit anyway. So there's no separate merit-based scholarship. And because our admissions is a holistic form of admissions, so our merit really literally means merit. Nobody ranks higher or lower on the merit scale when they enter Ashoka. And so all our, all the financial aid that students avail of is completely dependent on their family's ability to pay for the fees. So if we can go to the next slide. Yes. So this basically means that Ashoka bridges the cost of the program between, bridges the gap between the cost of the program and the student's ability to pay. Meaning that if you have 25%, if you're able to pay for 25% only, and you can't pay for the 75%, 75% will be given, will be waived off by Ashoka. So the only condition, the only criteria here is to get through the admissions process. And while you're sitting for your admissions process, while you're giving your application, giving your interview, sitting for your aptitude test, for example, the admissions team will not be privy to knowledge. For example, they would not know whether the student is planning to sit for financial aid, apply for financial aid later. So the admissions team is blind to the student's need, and the financial aid team is completely going to be looking at you based on whether you need it or not, and that's it. That is the only criteria that you need to fulfill, that you get through to the the whole program, the admissions program. Once you get through the admissions and you get a firm offer from the university, then your financial aid form will be enabled. You will get a specific time, usually about 7 days, to fill in your application form for financial aid, and that's where your guardians or your parents will have to be a bit more involved. You will be able to fill in details about their bank statements and ITR returns, etc., even for business families. So it's very much on a case-by-case basis. For example, 10 lakhs in a tier 1 city may be very different from 10 lakhs in a tier 3 city. So we look at parameters like that as well. And if we can go to the next slide. Right, I couldn't hear. Yeah, okay.
I'm facing some form of a screen jam.
Okay.
I'm going to have to temporarily stop share. Is that okay?
Sure. Maybe I can start sharing, perhaps.
Okay, I could. Are you screen sharing?
Yes, that's enabled, right? I can do a screen sharing. Oh, I don't think it's enabled. I'm not sure. I don't think I can share my screen right now. Okay. Yes, I can.
Yeah. Okay, great.
Right. I hope it's visible.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So we were here at right. So this is just a look at the the latest entry. So this is last year's batch that had come in 2019 that will be graduating in 2022. So we have 50% of that batch on financial aid, and so like I said, this will be anywhere between 25% to 100% and more. By more, I mean there is a percentage of students who will be availing of what do you call exceptional aid, what we call exceptional financial aid, which is they get a computer, a laptop on campus, as well as some stipend, a monthly stipend to get by on campus. So, and every incoming year, every incoming cohort, we make the promise of providing, at least a minimum of 100 scholarships, full scholarships, to 100 students, incoming students. And there is socio-economic diversity on campus with 10% of the batch being first generation college goers in their family, and students with family income less than 2 lakhs as well. So this is a look at some of the diversity on campus. Students from 18 countries and gender diversity that we respect on campus as well. Yeah, so I think it's kind of funny because I'm the one who's
I'm sorry
sharing.
about that. Just last minute tech glitches. So again, that was, again, one of those questions which we often get asked, which is about the validity of the degree of liberal arts and what kind of jobs, students could get post a liberal arts degree, and what kind of master's options, could also open up. Is the degree recognized at top institutes outside?
Right. Absolutely. In answer to your question, I'm kind of hurrying because I don't want to delay the other speakers as well. But there's myriad opportunities, and I think the speakers, not only through Ashoka, but the speakers that are coming after me will also be busting this myth. And the fact that we also have 3 years of graduates now, I think attests to the fact that they are successful, that liberal arts degrees are very successful. They've done really well for themselves. And in order to show you a little bit of this, there's a campus development office, a career development office on campus called the CDO. And this office basically helps students get placements, and not only placements, and not only organizations on campus, but this is an office that as an undergraduate student of Ashoka, you will be looking at, possibly engaging with this office multiple times before you graduate. In fact, because we have a very long summer at Ashoka, so your internship is a huge, I think, preliminary or huge introduction to organizations and to the industry that you're interested in. So even right at the end of your first year, you will be looking at different organizations, and through the career development office, you will be interning at different organizations. These are, we've put up these names not because they've come to Ashoka, but because Ashoka students have gone to work at these places across sectors. And of course, if you don't want to work immediately after you study or you graduate, these are again some of the really great places that Ashoka students have got through to. So I think this speaks for itself. The slide, and these places, these really great institutions speak for themselves. Besides these, there's also many other higher education destinations that Ashoka students have got through to. In India as well, some have gone to IIMs, and also to the Delhi School of Economics, and the Indian School of Business as well. So, yeah. Just right. This is a quick look at the summer and semester program. So before you graduate, these are a lot of the opportunities as well that you are going to be looking at. I'd like to quickly, just to dispel the myth of liberal arts degree being only strong in humanities. Now, Priya Rathore had been offered, and Priya is one of many. She's not the only one, but she's part of the first batch of graduates that we had. So even in her batch, there were some others as well who had majors in humanities, pure humanities subjects, as we would think. But because their foundation in quantitative knowledge was so strong, so she was offered, for example, the role of a business analyst at McKinsey and Company, and there's many more like her as well. So
Even yesterday we spoke about numerical rigor at liberal arts colleges, because that again sometimes come in as a myth or a doubt that liberal arts is all about the humanities and there's less numerical rigor there.
Right. Great.
Yes, again, a question that is buzzing on our chat box as well, and something that everyone wants to know, which is what are the components, in an application form that Ashoka is now going to be paying more attention to, given that, students have had to deal with unprecedented circumstances this year, and that has vastly affected their profile, their projects that they had planned, and even in terms of standardized testing, what kind of A is SAT compulsory, B, will you look at the SAT if it's submitted, C, what kind of scores would Ashoka require if you are looking at the SATs?
Okay, so there are some parts of this question that I can answer, but just to, just to make it very transparent, I actually had a word with our admissions team, and they also have said that, there are some parts of the question that we can't answer immediately right now because we've just finished with the introduction of our, the induction of our very new undergraduate students that are coming and joining Ashoka. So we haven't yet had time to work on, the complete changes that we may be introducing, but so far, it's still going to be holistic admissions, with parameters, academic and non-academic parameters. We'll be looking at both. SAT has never been what you call the only parameter, or it has never been made mandatory. So SAT has always been optional. So I don't think that this will be a year where we will be making SAT suddenly mandatory. I think it's highly, highly unlikely. Even where SATs are of paramount importance in US colleges, it's been stripped off. It's very great importance there. I hardly think that we would be making it mandatory this year when it never has been before. Perhaps that, we may still be, because there are students from international boards that are applying. If students do want to apply with an SAT score, I don't think we will be stopping them still. The average, SAT score that we've been seeing, we don't have a cutoff as we usually say, and we really don't. But I think about a 1400-ish is something that the average that an Ashoka candidate is applying with. So, but there are others who are applying with 1350 and above, around that figure as well. And people haven't been rejected only because of their SAT scores. Another thing I wanted to mention is, even if you sit for the Ashoka aptitude test, which is part of the interview round and is based on the Cambridge TSAs, and for example, last year we didn't make that mandatory either. We just made it optional. We made it completely optional. You could sit for the SAT, submit your SAT scores, or sit for the Ashoka aptitude test, or neither, right? I think in the first 2 years we had asked for either, but last year and the year before it was neither. But even if you give us, you give us only your, or rather you choose to sit for all three, we will still be taking into account the highest of the three into our assessment, our academic assessment of your profile. So that is something that I think students can take hope from.
Right. And, just with regard to this question itself, again, I'm not sure if all the answers are there yet, like you mentioned, but are you looking at a change in timeline in terms of cycle 1, cycle 2, or is it going to stay the same?
So normally we start in the second week of October and then we end in mid-May. We stuck to the same time frame last year, even after the start of the COVID. A couple of decisions were pushed ahead a week or 2 weeks maximum, but that was it. But with this year, I don't know if we're going to. So the academic session was supposed to begin on the 17th of August, but we are now beginning on the 31st of August, for example. So that's been pushed back a couple of weeks. So I don't know if there's going to be a drastic change. Perhaps if we do, it'll be pushed maybe a couple of weeks and not more. So we would try to stay the same as much as possible, as long as it doesn't inconvenience people who are applying or looking to apply.
Right. Thank you for that. And one last question before we invite Kriya to join in, which is, what kind of students, would thrive at Ashoka University?
Oh, well, you've seen the numbers, the diversity on campus already. There isn't a particular kind of student, although, it would be very easy. It would be very nice if we could just come out with one one block, but considering the diversity of the country, even financially, we know that academic brilliance doesn't come from only one sector of society. So I think I would say a student who is intellectually curious, is open-minded, open to exploring and knowing about themselves and the world around them, and is still intellectually humble enough to explore and adapt to, a new changing environment, and is self-motivated and committed with a desire to contribute to some form of social change. So that is something that I think, at least from the founder side, from the admission side, this is what they're looking at, definitely.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you so much, Amy. That was, very, very informative. I'm sure there's a lot that students and parents are going to take from this. There obviously are more questions, but it's always a challenge to address all of them. We've tried to address as many as we can. If I could kindly request you to put in probably an email address on the chat box that some of our students could potentially. Oh, okay, great. Brilliant. Sure. Here it is.
Yes. So this is a slide that I've added. This is from my slides. So this, I hope, is useful. This is where you can reach me. And definitely, I'll be sharing my contacts. You already have my contacts. So anybody who'd like to reach out to us, you can just take them from Kritika as well.
Excellent. Brilliant. Thank you so much, Amy. And students, please note her number and email address. She's been very generous and kind to put it out, for all of us. And specific questions, there were some specific questions on psychology and, the general admissions holistic overview of the admissions criteria. So there are some specific questions which students could directly reach out to you for. Thank you so much, Amy, once again.
Absolutely. For taking time. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks a ton. Thank you. And now we have with us Kritika University. So if I could please kindly, ask you to put your video on. Meenu, are you there? Yes. Hi. Are you being able to unmute yourself?
Oh, sorry. I thought I've already unmuted.
Okay, great. Good evening. Thank you so much for joining us. Akshat was here yesterday and, he addressed our students and he did bust a lot of myths with respect to Kritika University and even spoke about, the really, really unique interview process that Kritika has in place. And there were still more questions that students and parents had, which I'm sure you're going to be addressing here now. Thank you. So over to you.
Thank you so much. So can I share my screen?
Yes, you'll be allowed.
Okay. So good evening, everyone. I'm Meenu Arora. I'm a part of the outreach team, assistant director. I'm here with my colleague, Chirantan Sen. Chirantan, I think he's there. Yes. So both of us are going to present. I will just start and then Chirantan will take over. And I just realized that you just had a presentation on liberal arts education, but still I will give a background that why liberal arts and how Kritika came into picture. So as far as Kritika is concerned, all these academicians and industrial leaders, as you can see on the screen, they did a very lot of brainstorming and they tried to see that, what is the gap between the higher education and the world of work and what is coming up in 21st century, or if I can say industry 4.0. And then they found that, there's a lot of gap between higher education and the 21st century. And the most important thing which we need to prepare our students is one, that they should have an interdisciplinary approach to look at various professions, and plus they should have a set of skills, because only degree will not prepare you for the world of work. So with all those reimagination and redesigning the education system and keeping 21st century in mind, they curated all this curriculum and they came up with Kritika University. Kritika University basically has two kinds of schools, IFMR, which gives the MBA courses, and the Kritika University, which gives BA and BSc courses, which Chirantan will be talking about. So Kriya is basically situated in Sri City, which is 70 kilometers north from the Chennai airport. And the whole campus is spread over 40 acres of land. And some part is built up into the academic block and the residential and the dining hall. But a lot of it is left open for the learning to take place, because learning can happen in the corridors and in the open environment also. And before Chirantan starts with this, one thing I would like to say that one basic philosophy which Kriya follows is the interwoven learning. And if you look at today's world, even if you want to be a successful economist, always keep it in mind that you can be a successful economist if you know the behavior of humans. That is why behavioral economics is coming up. As an economist, you should know the social structure, the cross-cultural differences, and you should know how people take up and how people behave in different types of crisis, for example, during pandemic. And that only will help you in interpreting the data, data which is the language of the 21st century, and then you can be a successful economist. So Chirantan can have a brief presentation, and then we would love to have questions.
Thank you, Minu. Thank you so much, and good evening to all of you.
Chirantan, can you be a little louder?
Yeah, am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So yeah, thank you so much, Minu, for the introduction, and all of you, very good evening for being here. Can you just go to the next slide, please? Minu, the next slide, please. Yes, thank you. So as Minu said, like Kriya is pioneering the interwoven arts and sciences, right? And the interwoven technique, which is actually basically a philosophy to provide like a perspective to a particular subject. Well, it's more than an interdisciplinary thing. When anyone is teaching, like studying a subject, right? And they are studying in silos. They are doing that in a particular field. But interwoven learning provides you perspectives from all the different areas, how that particular subject affects different areas, and vice versa. So the interwoven learning and there's a guiding principle which Kriya follows, and these are like writing intensivity, the research based, interdisciplinary elements, ethics. I'll just go it in a very short note, like writing intensivity. So any course in Kriya, any particular field in Kriya is writing intensive, because we believe and we actually know that writing is the most strongest, the strongest communication channel through which, and every professional in every industry needs this kind of skills. The research based learning, Kriya, we encourage in producing knowledge. We try to create knowledge in the different fields of education. Ethics, if you say, ethics is an integral part of Kriya curriculum. So in any subject you are studying, there will be a sense, there will be a touch and taste of ethics in any of the courses you choose in Kriya. We have, like, as Vinu said, the data has become the language of 21st century. So every student in Kriya, being you are choosing economics or you are choosing history or any of the other subjects, everyone should know how to represent their work in front of the world. So data is something which is required. Like data analytics and the data science has become something very important for everyone to know, everyone to work with. Fine. So these are some guiding principles of Kriya, which every student, every faculty, and every people of Kriya believes in, and we work together with. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Yes. So in Kriya, a student need to study 3 years for a graduation, and there will be a fourth optional year for a deep diving study. Like as a it is an optional year for the your, if you want to know further about this, right? So you are eligible for a degree after 3 years. So during these 3 years, there will be 35 courses you need to study completely to complete your graduation. So it starts with 11 skills and core courses. When anyone joins Kriya, there is no prerequisite as if we have. So you can be a student of science, humanities, or commerce. You can join Kriya. You will be studying 11 courses and skills, which I will show after this slide. And after that, you will get a basic foundation of everything. You will learn how to learn, right? That is what is the motto of it. And then you can choose the other things. So these are the subjects you can choose, these majors and minors in Kriya which are available. So you can go for economics, history, literature, political science, all of it. and the BSc. So there are basically 13 major options you can choose, and there are two minors, which is extra out of this, which is business studies and philosophy, also can be taken as minors, right? So 15 minor options and 13 major options are available with BSc.
One thing here I would like to add to what Chirantan said, that there are no prerequisite to join any of the majors. Like even if you don't have maths in your high school, you can still join economics or even mathematics or computer science as your major. And you can choose it across. You can choose major from computer science and maybe minor in history, and vice versa. You know, there is no prerequisite for anything. And we have the bridge courses, you know, to help you in building on that. And along with this, we are also coming up with some joint majors and integrated majors. In joint majors, you can have 2 majors together, and integrated majors, you can have 3 majors, 3 subjects together. Yes, Chirantan.
Thank you. So yeah, these are the skill courses, skill and core courses which I was talking about. When you come to Kritika University, you will start with this program. Being a science of student or an art student, you all will learn about this, and these are the skills which you will require for lifelong, right? So there are creative expressions, design thinking, data analytics, which are the skills of 21st century you will learn when you're coming to Kritika. The next slide, please. To support you of learning things, to support you to build these skills, we have certain the labs and centers which will help you to build up the skills. So there is a skill center for writing and pedagogy. We have our quantitative support lab. So if you're a student of humanities and you are coming here, and you should be comfortable with numbers, so you will be given support all like with everything. To support you, we have all these labs over here. Next slide. Yes. So these are the area labs. You don't have to be a journalist or a media guy to work upon to create something. You can be anyone, and you can create your own work in a to present to the world. So this is how it works. Next slide. So Kriya understand that we have like porous boundaries. Fine. In Kriya, we don't only teach you. We don't only it is not a place to learn something. It's also a place to to apply it, to implement it. This is how interwoven actually works. It also works with the activity and also works with the the knowledge. So a student has all kind of options of internship, externship. We will get the opportunity for work studies. We have different tie-ups with universities. Next slide, please. So next slide. Thank you. Okay. So Kriya has like MOUs with different universities all around the globe, right? And these are very specific. Like you can, if you are a person who would like to go to learn about the politics and policy, you can just go to you can work with Harris Public Policy University of Chicago as a summer program. If you are a person who would like to go for biodiversity and want to do a project, you can always work with do a research collaboration and do a summer program with James Cook University, and like find out different things. You can explore the biodiversity along the Great Barrier Reef. So there are fantastic things you can do. We have collaboration with Academic Internship Council, through which you can get internships universities all around the globe. Even the Ivy League universities can offer you the internship as well. So this is how we do it. Recently, our one student, Meera Trivedi, she has got the the summer scholar program she is doing from the Harris Public Policy University of Chicago. Due to pandemic, she couldn't go over there, but it's a 100% scholarship, and she's doing her work from India only. So yeah, we have a lot of options to do different things, and particularly with different well-known universities around the world. So coming to faculties, these are the bloodline of an university. So we were very lucky to get faculties from all around the globe with masters, having people from Oxford University, the Harvard, Stanford, University of Cambridge, all around. So this is not the names only, or not the name of the universities. If you just go through their profile, you will find these are fantastic people with interest in diversities, like a mathematician, like the first picture in the top left row. Mr. Rishi, he's a professor of mathematician, but at the same time, he's also very interested to know about ethics and how it impacts how mathematics impacts the ethics and the vice versa. So there are people, there were people from different backgrounds. They have very colorful and very dynamic kind of interest. So they can also give you like a different perspective of a particular subject. So don't be surprised if you're in Kriya and you are studying physics, and a teacher of music comes up and says how physics actually affects the music, or how physics or music work together. So this is how we do it.
And just to add to it, Dr. Ramchandra Guha, who is a great historian, has joined Kriya University, and two professors from University of Cambridge and Oxford University joined last week only. And of course, Dr. Raghuram Rajan is there to take your economics classes.
Okay. So yeah. So as I was talking about, we Kriya not only we offer lectures to you, we also provide the opportunity and platform to speak with the stellar group of people. There are very eminent people from the industry and from the world, whom which you can have a chat with. You can listen to them. You can ask queries. You can get new perspectives that how world is working, how your learning can be implemented towards the betterment of the world, and what world is thinking. You will have all kind of opportunities. So we have like very prominent people, prominent speakers from all around the world globe, who comes to Kriya, who speaks about their work as well as the future work, the future expectations. Yeah, the next step. Fine. So the big question, like, what are the opportunities after being a graduate from Kia? So if you're a graduate from Kia, you can actually do anything if you want to. We prepare you for the unprecedented changes. That does mean we prepare you in such a way you can take up any challenges. You can go and work with any kind of industry you would like. You can work with corporate and corporate sectors. You can work with government. You can work with not-for-profit societies for higher learning. You can go with, or you can be a performer as well. So from Kriya, if you are being graduate, you are capable enough to take up any kind of career in your life. Fine. So how to apply for Kriya and how to take admission in Kriya. So first of all, let me tell you the philosophy of admissions in Kriya University. Kriya being a philanthropic university, we have a need-blind admission process. So we don't actually have any kind of like your economic background or your financial status is not a parameter at all for a Kriya. We find out people who are brilliant in a way. They're creative, they're open-minded, they're curious. They have the collaborative approach, and they're empowered with society and the environment. So this kind of people can actually join Kriya. We have a simple process of application through which we can get it, right? And we have a need-aware financial process. The next slide. Yes, so here is the process to apply to Kriya. In the first step, you need to apply for Kriya with a short personal story. It's a 500-word essay about yourself only. You need to include your all kind of achievements, your activities which you have done in your classroom, your any kind of project is appreciated, your curriculars, extracurriculars, everything. So you can apply with your personal story. If you get selected, we'll call you for a immersion day. So in that case, there will be a case study will be given. So it's a kind of it's a fun activity to explore a particular solution in a situation. And there are a lot of activities, like you will be given a a presentation which will be done in a group. You need to present your work to the panel of teachers. So this through this process, we actually select students. There are 18 different parameters which we evaluate on. So there is nothing like you need to you can take a SAT or ACT test, but that is not the parameter or a criteria or mandatory for CA University. So this is how we do it. Yes. So there are a lot of things to do in Kriya after your studying, right? So you can go with we have different clubs, and it's a very diverse background of students which have got as our first and second cohort. So there are students from like 24 different states this year we got, and there are from 4 countries itself. So you can have you can have your sportsmen, your filmmakers, musicians, future politicians. There are a different kind of people which will come together in Kriya. So we have different kind of labs as well. You can do a lot in Kriya. There are 18 different kind of, or more than 18 actually, different kind of labs which you can like do activity with, and you can come up with different creative solutions as well as creative ideas. So we actually celebrate all kind of regional festivals, and as well we have our cultural fest as well. So you can do a lot of things, and a lot of entertainment is there as well. So as Menu said, we have a campus which is 40 acre. and it is not we haven't built it completely. So we have our the water bodies, training jails. These are the classrooms we have in Priya. Fine, it's a completely self-sufficient campus in Priya we have. So you have your residential campus, your sports complex, your classroom, everything inside. We have a beautiful library of 45,000 books, which you can actually you can access online as the students are sitting at their place. So we have tied up with IISc, EVSCO, and all of other organizations, so that you can get the best kind of journals, best kind of the work from all around the globe to support yourself. Next. So the sports facility I was talking about. So there are I will just stop it here because we are running out of time. So you have all kind of sports facilities. There's an academic block. Just can you just show it? Yeah, there's the pictures of the.
Chirantan, what I can do, I will just quickly go through the slides. Students can see the pictures, and I will request Kritika to start with the questions.
Exactly.
These are all the recreational, because I think there is a gap between what I say and what Chirantan is able to see. So this is the student life. So there are a lot of open spaces. Students love bicycling here, and a lot of open spaces to interact, to work on your projects. This is the residential hall. This is the residential hall. These are your rooms. So you don't need to worry about the laundry and the cleaning up. It is just a call away. And the whole campus is very safe and secure. The medical doctors along with nurses are available there, till 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the evening. And the ambulance is there 24 hours on campus. Hospital is only 5 kilometers away. And the whole campus is CCTV, under CCTV surveillance. So you, and every week, one shuttle bus goes to Chennai if you want to buy certain things, if you want to see the city. So Kritika, please, questions, please. I will stop here.
Thank you, Chirantan. That was very, very detailed, and I think a beautifully put together deck. And I think we've all kind of virtually visited Kriya, through your presentation. So thank you so much for that. So there are some specific questions on the chat, so we could address that first. And then, there are some general questions that students and parents have already submitted to us. Oh yeah, great. So you've already put the admissions timeline up. So one of the questions was if the admissions timeline is going to change now, because of COVID. Is there going to be a change in terms of the cycle or no?
No, we will start our admissions in November only, November first week, because as other universities also starting the admission cycle in the same time. And till now, there is no indication that board exams dates are going to be changed. So everything is falling into the same space. So I feel that, we will start in November first week, definitely, with our admission process, because we have 3 rounds. Right. This year we had 4 rounds because of the COVID. Otherwise, yes, we have 3 rounds. So first round starts in the first week of November.
Okay, so as per schedule, so we're going to move as per schedule, as per last year's schedule, and there's no change with respect to that. And the follow-up question to that is, how is Kriya going to differently evaluate applications this year? Because Kriya works on a holistic admissions overview and projects and summer internships, a lot of activities that students would normally have done kind of got affected. So how is Kriya going to consider those factors? And is there going to be a change in terms of what you look at in an application?
See, as Chirantan explained, that we are looking for an applicant who is open-minded, who can collaborate in a team, who is curious enough, who is innovative. So now, as far as Kriya is concerned, we also look at, what the student has done from class 9, 10th, 11th, 12th. Okay. So the present students, the students who will be applying the next year, only 12th is getting affected. So when we look at any application, as you rightly said, we look at the holistic application. So we will look at, what the student has done beforehand, before 11th or 12th. 11th, they gone through COVID. 12th, again, half of the 12th is into the COVID, but what they have done otherwise. And what have they done to pursue their interest within these challenging situations? There are many things which you can maintain, you can continue in these challenging situations also. And that's what we want to see, how adaptable, how flexible, what kind of grit and determination you have. And definitely, as we look at the holistic profile, we also look at the context of the applicant. And we have many students who are coming from poor backgrounds, and Kriya is giving them 100% scholarship, and I can say 100 plus, because their living expense is also borne by Kriya. So we do look at the context also. And the beauty of the whole process is, it is a rigorous process. And one application is not evaluated by one person. It goes through a panelist of admission officers. So same application goes through 4 hands, 4 perspectives, so that if one person has missed out on something, second person will take it up. So I think students don't need to worry on that. We totally empathize, and we do understand that this uncertainty has given rise to a lot of anxiety and apprehensions among students. So don't worry.
Right. And a lot of students were also wondering what is happening with the 2020 cohort in terms of, students being able to go to campus or starting with online classes, and what is that infrastructure like, with Kriya, and how it is being able to support its new batch of students.
So as far as 2020 batch is concerned, we have already started. We are going to start with our orientation program. Open houses are already done for all the rounds. And in the orientation only, we are making them interact with everyone, with the present students, with the present parents, parents of the last year students, and also the administrative officer, who is taking care of the security and the, following the health guidelines because of the COVID situation. And from 17th, so today is 16th, so from tomorrow, we are going to start with a bridge course. Like I said, that you can pick up any course. So we will give you a bridge course to build on your skills. So tomorrow we are starting with the bridge course, and the classes are going to start online from 1st of September. So all classes are going on. So we are following the UGC guideline. If UGC says that you can open up the campus, we are all ready for it. Because as it is, the campus is away from city. The campus in itself is totally safe. So nothing to worry about. You're not going to interact with the city so often to catch the disease. So not to worry.
Right. That's brilliant. And Chirantan has helped us answer some specific questions here. But even in the, for the previous college, and generally we keep getting asked about standardized tests and, what is required for Kriya. Is SAT compulsory, not compulsory? Do students have the options of giving it in? Will it make the application more competitive? What is the kind of score that Kriya is looking at?
See, so SAT score we do value, but it is not mandatory. And to be very honest, it will not help you in some way if SAT score is higher. But many times what happens if the child has gone through some kind of issue, some kind of challenge, and the academics in school is not that great because of various reasons. But SAT, because it happened, maybe they gave in the beginning of the 12th and they score a good mark, then of course we will take care of that. Because their academic potential is not only seen in the CBSE board marks or in the school marks. Even SAT, looks for your critical thinking. And as it is, our process is so elaborative, like Chirantan was explaining about Kriya Immersive Day, So in that also your academic potential is gauged through, when you are critically analyzing the case, you are participating, you're writing your reflective essay, you take a small quantitative test also on that day. So everything in together, gives us a clear idea about the student. So SAT, ACT, not mandatory, but we are more than happy to accept those scores.
Right. And, as a follow-up to exactly what you said, the immersive day, in fact, students who sat through the immersive day for this year's cycle have, come out and spoken about either how much fun they had through it, or the fact that, it was quite challenging and they weren't expecting it. And, so questions, we often get asked is, how can I be better prepared for the Kriya Immersion Day? So what would you have to say for that?
So the best is that you just be yourself and try to look at any case or any situation from different angles. And many times, Kritika, you have asked a very relevant question, and I would like to share it with all the students. Many times when they're doing a group work, they feel that, okay, I'm taking an initiative. I want to portray myself as leader, and then they overdo something, they overspeak, always remember that whenever you are participating in any kind of group discussion for any university, right, we also want to see how good listener you are. You have to give equal respect, and you have to agree to disagree sometimes. So you
Right.
need to look at a situation, from different perspectives. You have to listen to others also. If you try to overdo certain things, if you try to talk in a group discussion rather than collaborate, it goes negative for you. How intelligent, maybe you have got 99%, maybe your SAT score is 1550, but if you cannot work with people, then we don't need you, to be very honest. So we are looking at a person who can collaborate also. So if you want to be better prepared, just pick up any case, anytime, and try to critically see it. Have a discussion. When you have a discussion, you are listening also, you are speaking also. Always keep that in mind.
Right. Brilliant. And I think that's an absolutely amazing piece of advice, something that we also speak to students about when, we're preparing them for their personal interview or for their group discussion. So students, this is really, really great advice. So please, when you're sitting for your immersion day or any group discussion, or, in fact, any project, any chat, please pay attention to what your team members have to say. And sometimes it's good to even encourage, the quieter person in the room, and to push them to speak up, and that's also leadership.
Yeah, and you should see what are the different roles in a group discussion. There are the initiators, then there are facilitators also, and there are moderators also, right?
Absolutely.
So one should take care of that.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Meenu. That was some brilliant advice. And Chirantan, that was very, very detailed. And I'm sure parents and students have got a lot, to take back from the Kriya presentation. Thank you once again for being here with us.
Thank you. Chirantan, can you please type the email ID in the chat box?
Yes, for students who want to, directly reach out and probably ask some more questions. And in a few minutes, we're going to start with Flame University's presentation. We have Anju who's joined us.
Okay, thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you.
All the best.
Thank you, Chirantan.
Thank you so much, Kritika, for the great opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, Anju. How are you?
Hi, thank you so much. Good evening to you. I'm good. How are you?
All well here. So we've heard Ashoka, we've heard Kriya, and now we're looking forward to hearing from you and know more and more about Flame. We did have a great student panel discussion yesterday where we got to understand, what students do on campus. And now we would like to understand more from the admissions point of view and, from the academic and curriculum point of view.
Absolutely, absolutely. So is it okay if I share my screen?
Absolutely fine.
I think the screen, you can see the screen now, right?
Yes, perfect. Absolutely.
Yes, yes. So good evening to all the students and parents. I know some of the parents also would be here, and to the educators who are also with us today. My name is Anju Devaskar. I head the admissions outreach for Flame University. We are a liberal arts university. We are the first ones in the country, in fact, a decade ago. And we are situated in a beautiful valley in Pune. The weather is really nice. The students are good. The faculty is brilliant. And so today, just to let you know more details about what are the exactly Flame offers, I'll just run you through a presentation and we could take the question answers later.
Perfect.
So, there's a very strongly circulated myth which people think that liberal education is all about studying humanities and arts. So obviously now with so much of support from counselors like you and various other platforms, I think that barrier is breaking slowly, so people understand what exactly is liberal education. And to our good surprise, to all of us, the panelists here today, I think the important thing is the NEP 2020 almost looked like a marketing brochure of one of our universities. I mean, we're doing everything almost what the government and the national education policies today talking about. So these are certain skills which have, through a research from National Association of Colleges and Employers, this was done. And I think these are the skill sets which I think the employers are looking at today in the current scenario, right? And to top these skills, I think these are the few skills about leadership, ability to work in a team, communication, both verbal and written, problem solving, strong work ethics, initiatives, adaptability, and technical information. So these are the essential skills that the world is looking at now, the employers are looking at. How do you really get them? So I think the first thing is that the approach to teaching and learning in a liberal education is very research driven, and just one second, please. Is very research driven. Can you see my screen completely?
Yes.
Sorry.
Yes. Perfect.
All right. So yeah, I mean, so these are the skills that the universities are, I mean, the employers are looking at, and how do you get these skills? So coming to, the program of delivery that the liberal education has is basically through research. And what exactly are the liberal education concepts like? So basically understanding to learn through different modes of thoughts. This essentially is covered in, I think, the first year of the liberal education when you do your undergraduation, where you're exploring the boundaries of one particular discipline. So I think in grade 8, 9 onward today, the schools are offering you to pick your subjects, and some of the students do drop some very important subjects, which may be important actually, but they do not understand it right now because maybe they're not good at it probably. And similarly in 9th and 11th and 12th, students, some of them don't study mathematics, some of them don't study science, obviously because there are 3 streams, right? So I think this is a very unfortunate setup, because students they are just getting, into one core sort of a learning at such a young age, where the actual world is very interdisciplinary. I mean, there's no such profession where, if you study one discipline and you don't use the other information that you might, that you need to learn in your real work. So this, to develop the different modes of thoughts, you run across a spectrum of, 5 categories of disciplines, where the students pick up essentially different courses from all the 5 subject categories, to just explore what exactly is those subjects, what is it that you're going to really learn about. You learn to think critically, you learn to, I think your public speaking and appreciating artwork, appreciating music, appreciating the work around you, becoming more empathetic as a global citizen, and basically being a very well-rounded person with well-rounded education. Liberal education definitely is not a liberal lifestyle, because this is one question which people think that, okay, this must be an easier course. So let me tell you, friends, this is a very, very rigorous program. Students, since it's a very research driven program, so it's not that, there's a textbook and you learn it afterwards before the examinations and you pass and you get your degree. It isn't like that. It's very, very research driven, where you have many presentations and submissions that you put up throughout the year, and that too based on your research work. Now, coming to the specialization areas, I mean, a student could get a degree of a bachelor's in arts or bachelor's in science, depending on what subjects essentially they pick. They can study economics, psychology, literary and cultural studies, journalism, international studies, sociology, public policy. Then also advertisement and branding, digital marketing. I mean, you can just see it on your screen. I mean, there are complete range of subjects, right from humanities, from social and social sciences, natural and physical sciences, arts, and global studies. So in all, if you see, you can take combinations from more than 280 offers that the Flame has. So if you look at this chart, I mean, it's we offer 20 subjects in our majors and 21 in our minors. And the dots that you see are essentially the combinations that one can pick. For example, if you're taking economics as your majors, you can take psychology as your minor. or you can take sociology as your minor, or you could take advertising and branding as your minor, and so on and so forth. So this essentially is done towards the third quarter of your first year, because in the first year, in the first 3 terms, you have to take up courses like, I'm going to just come to this first, yeah. So while you take the foundation core, which essentially is about academic writing, critical reasoning, public speaking and debate, digital literacy, introduction to applied ethics, and environmental studies. These are the foundation core courses which one has to do it. It's a mandatory course, because irrespective whether you want to take up journalism as your majors and economics as your minor, you're still going to need these skills. And this is what, the skills, the first slide that we shared, these are the certain courses which will actually develop these kind of, or hone these kind of skills in the learners. Besides this, you're also going to take 2 courses from each of these 5 universes of knowledge, as we call it, Flame. So these are nothing else but the disciplines to be simple. So you have to take 2 courses from each discipline. And this is actually what is called the exploration. You need to understand what is it in the offering across the breadth, where before you kind of finalize it, what is it that you want to do. This can be very, very overwhelming for students who are just coming out of their grade 12 to have such a wide range of options which is available. And also this sometimes too many options, like I heard someone else say, it can create a confusion. I mean, what do you take? There are more than 280 combinations to pick. But just to make that easy, you will do these courses to understand your calling. And we can, we have hundreds of students who come to the college saying that, okay, they wanted to do maybe, economics as their majors, landed up doing psychology as their major, because it's only when you explore these courses, you understand what do they really offer and how does it help me. And there are a lot of advisors for you. Peer mentoring happens, faculty mentoring happens. You have academic advisors to guide you through the complete process when you have to pick up your majors and minors. Now, these are just certain examples. There are maybe under each header, there are more than 20 and 30, between 20 to 35 courses which are offered. For example, you could take, planet Earth or quantitative methods in your physical and natural sciences. You don't need any science background. Even if you were a humanities student, you can still pick up these subjects. I mean, you have to pick up these subjects. You can pick up music and culture, sculpture and exploration in material, pick up 2 languages. You can study about advertisement, gender, sexuality, or film genres, poetry from sonnet to slam poetry. So I mean, it's a wide plethora of options that the students get. And this is, again, repeating, this is the true exploration. You are not supposed to come pre-decided to a university saying, hey, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. Yes, that will help you because you have passion towards that. But please don't be surprised if you see that you're more invested in something else and maybe you're better at that. Now, looking at, this was the academic area where, the students, what the subjects they study. So they pick up their majors and minors to a second year, they finish the 3-year program. Now, what happens in those 3 years? Now, experiential learning, I think, is something which even again, coming back to NEP, they want experiential learning components, the universities to offer these components. So at Flame, you have 3 opportunities. Number 1, Discover India program. So students do it in the second year of, the 4th semester, yes, towards the second year, where it is a group project and students travel to any part of the country. They have a research question, they do their research paper, they write an essay, then finally they make a film on that. The film, the students learning about film can also be integral part of this aspect. So this basically gives students a pure experience of knowing your own country. And I think I'm going to share a link in the chat later on where you must go and watch these some of the movies that we have put on YouTube where the children, how they have worked. And this program is I think most talked about. It's also a flagship program. And if you ask any Flame student what is one thing that they remember and remember about their complete 3 years or 4 years of this experience in the college, I think this tops the first. I mean, this is something which teaches them actually a lot beyond the classrooms. Developmental activities program is something which is again sensitizing your community while these students are gathering knowledge. I think it's also important to be aware of what your society is. So the students have to do a internship where, you know, it will add some sort of social responsibility to students. Right now, even in the COVID situation, I think all our students have very successfully done that, the DAP, and it is mandatory. Which is done after the first year. So, I mean, students who joined us last year, they would be doing it this year. And then towards the summer of second year, after the second year, you do something called a summer internship program, which is more of a corporate exposure, where you do a proper internship with the industry. So while you are in college, you have actually done a very, very wide sort of experiential learning components within your academic 3 years, right? Now, this is I mean, you must have had a question, why am I talking about the fourth year? So the fourth year at Flame is called the Flame Scholars Program. We are absolutely in compliance with UGC, and they say that we must offer a degree of 3 years, which we do. But we also offer a fourth year Flame Scholars Program, where 1 year postgraduate diploma is essentially a seamless continuation of your 3 years of degree program and the fourth year. Who does it? I think students who want to, dig deeper or have more research and in their majors or minors, they do it. Students, sometimes they want to convert their minor into major, they do it. Students who are looking to go overseas to some countries where essentially undergrad requirements is 4 years before they get into the masters, those students do it. So again, eligibility will be, there are certain eligibility factors where you have to have your basic CGPA of as 6, right? And yes, this was optional. I mean, you have an exit option after 3 years, and you can, still go and study anywhere else. Talking about the faculty, I think this is the core of the university. When we talk about, we have faculty from various international, they've studied overseas, they worked there, and they bring a very, very rich experience to the university, where the students, I think, benefit because the relationship and the quality of teaching and learning is completely international, equivalent to international standards. Also, I would like to emphasize here that the faculty and student ratio at Flame is at par with the best internationally, because we have around 10 students per each faculty. That 10:1 is our ratio. And again, till now we were talking about what we teach, right? But these are the things about which will come under how we teach, I think, because the program is so research driven that if this is not there, I mean, your faculty and student ratios, and these are not balanced, then obviously the quality gets affected, right? Talking about the Global Connect opportunity, we have, tie-ups with the universities that you see on your screen. They're best in their courses. I mean, Amherst and Wellesley is the best liberal arts universities around in the world, which is spoken about. We have a tie-up with them. We have students go there for a 6-month exchange program where they go and study there, and the students from there come to our campus. So it's both, whether if you're going there, you definitely have to earn that, number one, and people who come from here, you automatically get to experience, different culture and perspectives when it comes to your classroom. Now, the key thing here is, while you do a semester abroad, you don't pay the fee that probably would go to a King's University College or Babson or whichever student probably go to. You will still pay the same tuition fee to Flame University, and we have a tie-up. So all the extra cost to this Global Connect opportunity would be just your travel and your stay and food. And rest, I mean, you don't pay the fee, which automatically brings down a very, very huge cost. Talking about the faculty, right from, the visiting, the guest speakers, I think since it's a liberal arts university, the kind of subjects ranges right from your humanities to arts to sciences to your theater. So or automatically and business and finance as well. So the guest speakers are very eminent people who bring in that experience, and the students get a very good interaction with them. And this is just a few of them that I have mentioned on this slide. Also, that helps you networking. I mean, students at this age are almost getting to preparing their CVs for their job in a couple of years, right? Now, academic support, I think I've mentioned this, the faculty mentoring, peer mentoring, academic advisory, alumni mentoring, counselors, and of course, the library, that it's a beautiful library that we have. It's one of the largest in the country, probably. And this essentially helps students to make very informed choices. Someone I mentioned earlier, when there's so much of option, I think it becomes very confusing for students what to take, because again, economics here, I mean, if you take something, you're going to miss something. So how do you come to that wise decision that you make, right? The co-curricular opportunities that students would have here is Flame Investment Lab, where you can, enter the program, incubate, and, actually there are big time investors who are supporting this program. And students have actually started their businesses in the lab. So actually, I heard my dean say that the Flame campus is actually a laboratory for the students who come, experiment, learn, make mistakes, do it again, try it again until they succeed. So yes, students, there are lots of opportunities that you actually come. Maybe you may be doing just one, thought in your mind that I'm going to do majors in XYZ subject, but you land up doing so many things that you have no idea. The campus is, it's a 60-acre campus in a beautiful valley. And of course, the facility is immense. I mean, you have right from lecture theater to library to performing studios, sculpture studios, science labs, amphitheaters, tennis and football and cricket and the works. You can have a look at it on a virtual tour on our website. Now, this is something very interesting. Sports is a mandatory thing for students. I mean, if you are not picking up a sport and you don't play it in your first year, you probably won't pass your first year. And similarly, you have to participate in your, people are watching you in your, the groups that the committees that are there. They ensure that the students do participate in all these interactive fests and clubs that we have. And talking about the clubs, I think the most interesting part is that there's a range of clubs. If you like something, you definitely will have a club. All you need is some 20 enthusiastic people, and you can start one if one doesn't see, if you don't see the club that an activity that you would like to engage in and it doesn't exist. All you need is around 10-15 students who would be engaged in that club, and you could start your club. This is the campus. I'm sorry, this is an old picture. This is now it looks far more better. These are some of the lecture rooms. These are the libraries. The studios, because we do have filmmaking as a subject and music theater as well. So there's a very, very appropriate setup. These are some open amphitheaters. This is the student housing. It almost looks like a resort, but then please don't be mistaken. There's a lot of hard work. So, you won't be, we'll make sure that you're not on a holiday. This is a dining hall. Talking about the admissions, should I go ahead, Kritika, or do you would want to take some questions before this?
So a lot of questions are actually on admissions. So I would say you should go ahead with.
Perfect, perfect. So like the other universities, you heard our admission process ain't any different. It's a very simple process. You log on to the website, fill in the application form. You'll reach a particular stage where you have to pay the application fee, which is 2,000 rupees. You go forward, you have to write your statement of purpose. Then once your application is complete, we're going to ask you for, during the application, you're also going to submit your past academic record, extracurricular activities or achievements, and the statement of purpose. Once this is done, one of our team members is going to get in touch with you from admissions, and we'll set up we start our early admission cycle in December. So people who go to, and our application portal will be open last week of September. So from September, October, November, December, we start selecting students, and students who have SAT or ACT scores ready in hand, they do not have to take the FEAT test, which is the Flame Entrance Aptitude Test. And once the test or the SATs are submitted, then you have an essay writing and your personal interview. So again, there are different perspectives. There are, our academic faculty who's engaged in your selection process. They're again looking at a very holistic interest or a very well-motivated child, student who would be a perfect fit for us as well. And so minimum eligibility criteria for, I think there's no minimum eligibility. I mean, you must pass your grade 12 is your minimum eligibility criteria, but for the diploma IB students, I'm sorry, but we will not accept the certificate students. If you've done your IB diploma and you have your, you pass the diploma, you're absolutely eligible to apply. And so this is our last date for this admission cycle. We closed on the 22nd June. So that's normally the cycle which we'll follow the forthcoming year as well. So before I explain this, I'd also like to, tell students that please don't be worried about the admission process and this and all of this. I think the more emphasis I would like to lay is upon explore properly. I mean, you must explore to 5 to 10 to 15 colleges, see what's your true calling, okay? Once you figure out or narrow down the university, talk to them, just see if they offer the course that you want. Is it the place where, you can fulfill your or accomplish your goals? And I think everyone today is looking at very holistic approach to application, so you don't need to worry on that. Coming to the tuition fee, which I'm sure most of you will have your questions. The program fee is 5,95,000. Lodging and boarding is 1,65,000. So we are purely residential campus. So even students who are living in Pune, they have their homes here. They still come. They still live in the hostels on campus. Then you have your caution or other fee, which is 50,000. So total is 8,10,000 that you pay. And this includes everything, all your learning resources and everything, right? Coming to something interesting for current grade 10 and 11 students. If you think liberal arts is something that you want to experience or sample, please come and join our summer immersion program. We'll be very shortly updating about that on our website too within a week. You can apply to us. You can visit. The whole world is praying. I'm no different. I hope we're back to normal life soon. And if that happens, you'll be spending 2 weeks on the campus. And should that not happen, we'll follow the similar cycle which we followed this year. It's going to be an online summer immersion program. The idea is to learn from the professors, see how they teach, what they teach, and what is it that we're really talking about. So yes, I'm done here, Kritika.
Thank you so much, Anju. That was a very, very detailed presentation. If you could just bring that last slide on again, please. Or
sorry,
it's fine. You could just leave your email address on the chat box.
I will do that. I'll do that.
Yes, that'll help. So I think most questions did get answered. I was, keeping a check. We are going to start with Jindal University in 5 minutes, but I do have 5 minutes with you to ask some specific questions. So, one of our attendees is asking about scholarships at Flame. And
Yes. So we missed talking about this, and I'm glad you asked me. So at Flame, I think 25% of our students are on merit scholarship. So this, I always say, it's good in 2 ways. Number one, even if you've not got a scholarship, I think you're surrounded with very, very highly motivated students. So automatically the quality of the classroom discussions and your experience at college automatically becomes very, very enriching. And number two is that it helps those who to save, not to make a hole in their parents' pocket at undergraduate level. They can always save it up for something else. So merit scholarship is something you don't need to apply for. Once you put in your application and you go through the entire admission process, the admission team is automatically going to tell you if you're eligible for your merit scholarship. There is also financial aid that we provide to very deserving students who may not be in a condition to pay the tuition fee that we offer. For those students, they have to write to us. They have to, of course, provide certain documents which kind of support their need that they're forwarding to us. So yes, there's a lot of scholarship options at play. Does that answer your question?
That's great news, and it definitely does answer questions. And just one more question before we invite Jindal, and that question is about any specific requirements in terms of mathematics or in terms of the commerce mathematics versus the science mathematics or mathematics in general as prerequisites to certain majors.
Do a major or honors in economics or in computer science, you'll definitely need your mathematics. But if you're going to take economics as a minor, probably not then. But yes, mathematics is just a compulsory admission, subject requirement to certain subjects, not all. And same is with sciences also. I mean, you may not have done sciences, but you can still come, when you come here, you could take up a course which is from the physical and natural science stream where you can go forward with that. Only computer science is something where you need to have your computer science. Also, I forgot to mention is the two honors that we offer. One is BSc honors in computer science and economics honors for the bachelor BA, right? So for these, the students are not allowed to pick a minor because these are very heavy courses. However, they can still pick up from the wide range of the minors and pick up courses as electives. So,
right.
so it's not that you can still do economics honors and have journalism or filmmaking as one of your electives. So you can keep changing them as well. So the only requirement is you should be able to maintain a certain score. I mean, academically, your teachers would be watching you that, somebody is not too distracted to do so many other things and leaves the focus on your main subject.
Absolutely. And thank you so much, Anju. I think everything you mentioned was very, very detailed and very valuable. Thank you for your time, and your email ID is on the chat, which you very generously put forward for everyone to contact you. So students, whoever has more questions for Flame, feel free to reach out to Anju directly with your questions.
Absolutely. I'll be very, very happy to address. Thank you so much and wish you all the best, everybody. Thank you, Kritika. It was a pleasure to talk here. Thank you.
All our pleasure. Thank you. Thank you so much. And with that, I would request Mr. Ankur Vora to please start his address. You're on mute.
Sorry. Hi, good evening, Kritika. Thank you so much for having me here. A very warm good evening to the students and parents joining us today for my presentation. I hope Kritika had curated a very wonderful program. She had all the universities, all the top liberal arts institutions presenting, even the students. We are very happy with the kind of work, Kritika, that you have done for bringing us all of us together. So I look forward to my session. I believe I have 30 minutes with the audience. I'll just share my screen and, start with my presentation. Give me a second.
Sure.
I hope you guys can see my screen now.
Yes.
Perfect. Give me a moment. So I represent OP Jindal Global University. We are a leading social sciences research-based liberal arts institution based out of Delhi, NCR, India. We are a fully residential and a compulsory residential university. We are a young university. We started our journey only about a decade back. This is our 11th year of existence. In 10 years of our existence, we have achieved a lot of things and a lot of laurels for our work that we do. We are an institution of eminence. We are a world university. We are a globally ranked university. QS ranks us amongst the top 800 universities in the world. We are an institution of eminence, so which is given a recognition given by Ministry of HRD, Government of India, which said out of 900 plus universities in India, there are only 20 universities that have been accorded this recognition, which is called Institute of Eminence. There are a lot of things that comes with this tag. There are a lot of responsibilities, but one of the main things that Institution of Eminence means that Government of India thinks that in the next coming decade, UP Jindal Global University, along with 19 other universities, will be amongst global 500 universities. As you are aware, there are very few or handful science-based institutions like IITs, which are amongst, or ISC, which are amongst the top 500 institutions globally from India as of now. And the Government of India wants more of those institutions, especially social sciences and liberal arts institution, to be representing India in the global rankings. So we are very proud to be the only private social sciences and liberal arts university to be accorded this recognition of Institution of Eminence. Now, Institution of Eminence is a recognition that has come, we will say a bit fast for us in the last 10 years, but it has been possible because of our key focus on these 7 areas. We believe that these are the 7 parameters that any university should be benchmarked with. And although we are located in India, we compete with other universities here in India, but our eyes of management and our founders has been always on the global universities. So anything that you see here, from faculty to infrastructure, interdisciplinarity, internationalization, student life, rankings, alumni, all of them are of global nature. All of them compete or align themselves to global benchmarks. Now, I quickly want to introduce OP Jindal Global University and the vision of our founders. There are 2 main people who are associated with OP Jindal Global University that anybody who is interested in us should be aware of. One is our Vice Chancellor, the dynamic and a Rhodes Scholar, Professor C. Rajkumar, who at the age of 34 became the youngest Vice Chancellor. Now, he is a graduate from Harvard, Oxford, Delhi University, and Hong Kong University. He could have easily had a very good life anywhere in the world and earning big bucks, but he came back to India and he said, I wanted to set up a globally ranked social science university. Please ensure social science and liberal arts institution, because he felt there is a lot of emphasis on engineering and medicine education in India, but not many universities were able to do justice to the social science and liberal arts field. So he met our benefactor, Mr. Naveen Jindal, who is the owner of Jindal Steel and Power Limited, JSPL, which is the 4th largest corporate house in India. And Mr. Naveen Jindal very graciously accepted his proposal to set up a world-class institution right here in Delhi NCR. If geographically speaking, we are located in Sonipat, which is in Haryana, which is about a 90 minutes drive from the center of Delhi. But you will be amazed when you come to this place and see a professor from Yale or Stanford or Harvard, or students going all over the world just by passing through the doors of OP Jindal Global University. Now, today I have been tasked to talk about our liberal arts school specifically. We do have 9 schools at OP Jindal Global University. Quickly speaking, we started with our law school with just about 10 odd faculty and 100 students. Today, over the span of 11 years, we have about 9 schools now and about 5,000 plus students who call Jindal their home. So we have 9 schools, as I mentioned. We have Jindal Global Law School, the Jindal Global Business School, the Jindal School of International Affairs, the Jindal School of Government and Public Policy, the Jindal School of Liberal Arts and Humanities, the school that I'll be talking in detail about, the Jindal School of Journalism and Communication, the Jindal School of Art and Architecture, and Jindal School of Banking and Finance. The 9th school that we launched this month is called Jindal School of Environment and Sustainability, that is offering a 3-year BA honors in Environment and Sustainability field. So this is about our programs that we offer. Now, quickly moving on to JSLH, Jindal School of Liberal Arts and Humanities, the school that we launched in the year 2013. This is the program that we offer, is called a 3-year BA honors in Liberal Arts and Humanities with a possible specialization in 11 areas of student choice and an optional study abroad option. We do also have a double degree option. So we have 2 options for students. One is with Rollins College, which is a very good liberal arts institution, top liberal arts institution based out of US, and Deakin University in Australia. So if students are interested in a double degree or dual degree program, you can enroll for 2 years at Jindal and probably 2 years at our partner universities and get double degree, one from Jindal and one from our partner universities, either in US or UK. So the liberal arts program at Jindal is a 3-year BA honors in liberal arts and humanities offered by Jindal School of Liberal Arts and Humanities. So I will not talk about much about what is liberal arts and why you should pursue liberal arts. Probably my predecessors would have talked about liberal arts, and I hope this audience is aware of why you should study liberal arts. I'll straight away go into the way we do Jindal liberal arts. The liberal arts, the way we do it is through interdisciplinary courses, experiential learning, languages, and self-designed major. Now, interdisciplinarity, as all of my colleagues would have mentioned, and we also believe that there is much importance in studying interdisciplinary subjects. And Jindal, as I mentioned, we have 9 schools, right from law to business and international affairs to government and public policy. All of them are available for our students for their benefit. So they can do cross electives, they can do electives, and I will be talking about the subjects that you can pursue at Jindal. Probably at not many other universities you will have that option. The second focus we have is on experiential learning. We believe in learning by doing. Our classes are not the normal classes that students are generally accustomed to in their schools. We believe in experiential learning, so a lot of our learning happens through internships, through field work, through hands-on learning. Our faculty loves students who question them. So it's a very closely knit community of liberal arts students that we have that love to learn in a much different way than probably a traditional public or a private institution may aspire you to teach by that way. Languages, we believe that since we are a global university, everything associated with us has to be global. And one of the key factors there is languages. We teach 5 languages at OP Jindal Global University, but you will be happy to note that Spanish is a mandatory language in the liberal arts program, and I will be talking more about that in our semester breakup, which I will show later. And the fourth part is self-designed major. Now, most of the time, we do not want students to be straight-jacketed into a silo of a particular subject. So we have given an option at JSLH for students to self-design their own major out of different subjects. Some of the past self-designed majors have included art, history and literature, international relations, environment psychology, and there are there are 50 different majors that you can choose from in self-designed major. Now, specifically in straightforward majors, we have 10 majors to offer. We are a social science liberal arts institution, so we offer courses, a major in economics, environment and sustainability, expressive arts, which is visual arts, then sociology and anthropology, history, international business, literary studies, philosophy, political science, and ever much so after psychology. So these are the 10 straightforward majors offered in JSLH. Then we have our self-designed major, wherein you can choose, pick and match your own interest, and then we can probably offer you your own interested major. As I mentioned earlier, you can have a major in art, history and literature, environment psychology, psychology and expressive arts, and there are a lot of other options for you. Probably we can talk about it in one-to-one counseling if you're interested in self-designed major. So this is the course structure that we have for BA Honors in Liberal Arts and Humanities. All students have to do 19 foundation courses, which give you 76 credits. Now there are 4 compulsory internships. As I said, we are a focused university on experiential learning. Now internships are again provided by us. We have a very fantastic Office of Career Services that supports students in aligning their career goals with the kind of internships that they should be doing over the course of next 3 years during their time at Jindal. Then we offer 10 major courses. Then I was mentioning about our cross-listed electives, in which you can take electives from our different schools. Apart from the JSLH, there are 8 other schools. So these are the way that we structure our course. Now this is important for anybody to understand how JSLH is different from probably any other university. We are giving you the flexibility. We are giving you the experience in terms of compulsory internships. And also, yes, not to mention our small class sizes. Our 1:9 is our batch to faculty ratio. So over every 9 students, we have a qualified faculty from very well established places. So this is the way we offer our breakup of our semesters: the first year, the second year, and third year. If you see, the first year is focused on your course subjects. So you have to do a lot of foundation courses in the first 3 semesters actually, from interdisciplinary studies to expressive arts to quantitative skills to Spanish 1 and similarly you see semester 2, there's a lot of focus on your core courses that we believe will form the basis of a quality liberal arts education. Now from semester 4 onwards, which is your second year, second half of your second year, and third year onwards, you can pick up your electives, you can pick up your majors. So 4 major courses you will have to pick up electives from any interest major that you have, and then JSLH cross electives means that you can pick up cross electives from any other school in general. So this is the way we have structured our program, the 3-year PA on liberal arts and humanities. I was talking about our globalization, internationalization opportunities. I think some of the best opportunities that a university can give you, AI here sitting in India, is the JSLH. We have exclusive programs with universities which do not partner with any other institution in India. We have the Jindal Harvard program, the Jindal Oxford program on politics, philosophy, economics, the Jindal UC Berkeley Summer School, the Jindal Sciences Summer School, and Jindal University of Canada Summer School, University of British Columbia Summer School. So there are a lot of these summer schools, exclusively curated programs for Jindal students. Apart from that, I mentioned about our dual degree programs with Rollins College and Deakin University. We do offer semester exchange programs with university across the globe, and you can see a list of them there. They're all top institutions, liberal arts institutions that are, again, not many other universities in India have these kind of global opportunities for students. Every semester we send about 150 students to universities abroad. These days, due to COVID, we are not able to do that, but definitely as soon as the situation comes back to a little normal, we will definitely look forward to sending our students abroad on these kind of programs, the short-term study abroad program, the semester exchange program, and the dual. Now, internship, I just want to focus again on our experiential learning, which is the internship part. We want you guys to explore your interest. Now, one of the things that I want to mention here is our faculty. If you go through I didn't have the time to produce the slide with the faculty profiles, but if you go through our faculty profile, you'll see fabulous faculty, not only who have the academic experience, but faculty from the industry, faculty who have taught at some of the top institutions around the world. Our dean, Professor Kathleen Madrowski, is a world-renowned educator who has done phenomenal work in setting up liberal arts institutions on multiple occasions in US and France. And there are many other top quality faculty that teach full-time at Jindal. Now, we also give you a mentorship program, and the mentorship program is wherein a faculty assigned to a student from the day you walk into Jindal, from day 1, you will be assigned a faculty who will guide you with regards to definitely your career goals. But since we are a residential campus, we all stay on campus, including me. We love to guide students with regards to their career opportunities, life goals, personal goals, and probably some small problems that you encounter being on a residential campus. So that is a very, very closely knit community that we have, right from the faculty mentorship to the Office of Career Service mentorship, which helps you in aligning your goals with the kind of opportunities that you should be taking up during your internships. So careers after GSLH, our students have gone on to pursue higher education. They have gone on to work in fantastic institutions. They have gone on to work in consulting, global institutions, think tanks, media, NGOs. There are a lot of options that are there. Our faculty, our internship placement highlights from last year, we had 18 lakh per annum as our highest salary. They have internships for students who did it in Mauritius. They had gone to Spain and Florida, and there are a lot of other places. I didn't mention all, but they are available on our website. And I'm sure my alumni, my current students would have spoken to you yesterday itself, and they can be talking more about the experiential learning that I am emphasizing on. But definitely, I think we have a major edge over there. Now, this is again a snapshot of students, my alumni from JSLH, and where are they? As you can see, they are in some very prestigious institutions, pursuing some very interesting courses, right from MS program in water science and policy at University of Oxford to MA in Asian religion at Yale University. And there is who's of global institutions that where Jindal students are studying or pursuing their higher education in very, very unique and interesting programs. So that is the idea of our program, the courses that we offer. Now I'll come to the admission process. We are a very competitive university to get into, and even for JSLH, the competition to get in is quite substantial. We are looking for a minimum 10+2 or equivalent, which can be IB diploma or Cambridge or any other boards. We want students who have holistic personality, and like all other major liberal arts school in India and abroad, we follow a holistic admission process. We look for your grades from grade 10, 11 and 12. 12 can be predicted scores, and then you have look at your extracurriculars, letter of recommendation, and there is your standardized test scores. It can be SAT, ACT, or even our own aptitude test, which is called Jindal Scholastic Aptitude Test, wherein you can give Jindal Scholastic Aptitude Test. And in these days of COVID-19, you'll be happy to note that JSAT has now moved completely online. It's an AI-enabled test that you can give it from your home. If you have a laptop and a stable internet connection, you can take a date and give a test right from your home itself. The test is conducted by our partner university, which is partner, which is called Pearson VUE. And there's a whole process of applying for that. Probably I can talk about that later. But this is the admission criteria that we have. And yes, we have the final round, which is the interview, in which we talk about your application. It's not a stress interview. It's just a double check on the application and your personality and your drive to come and study with us at OP Jindal Global University in the liberal arts school. So this is the process. Generally, we open our applications in mid of November every year, and we are hoping that for next year also, we will begin our application in mid of November. The entire admission process, as I mentioned, is on our website, admissions.jgu.edu.in. We do have education loan tie-ups with different banks in India, and probably we can talk about that later once you have an admit from us. So admission process, as I mentioned, there is academic criteria, there is the non-academic and personal context in terms of extracurricular achievements, letter of recommendations, and the personal context. And then the final round is an interview. Interview again is happening these days on either WhatsApp calls or Skype or even telephone calls if the network is not good. We are supporting our students in whichever way we can in making the admission process as available to students from different backgrounds in the country. So that's about it, about admission process. Some of you may be interested in understanding more about JSAT. Jindal Scholastic Aptitude Test is a 2-hour test comprising of 120 multiple choice questions covering logical reasoning, quantitative aptitude, and verbal ability. So these are the 3 sections that are test checks. Interested candidates, as I mentioned, have to register on our website, pearsonvue.com/JSAT, and this is our website. Okay, so this is not relevant. So just a emphasis on what we look for in the interview. We look for a candidate's oral communication, written communication, imagination and creativity, self-reflection, and diversity and range of extracurriculars. So these are the 5 factors. A lot of the time students do get stressed about this interview process. There is nothing to be stressed about. It's just a very, very comfortable conversation about whatever you have written in your application. We are not going to ask you rocket science questions. We are just going to ask you simple logical questions, whichever information you would have provided us in your application itself. So, but we will be checking these 5 parameters. So scholarships, we do offer scholarships at Jindal. We have a means cum merit basis scholarship. If your family income is below 30 lakhs for a particular financial year, then you have to prove it to our Office of Scholarships that you have to submit some documents and tax documents and your lot of financial documents. Once we are satisfied that your financial income is below 30 lakhs, we give you a scholarship. Maximum scholarship that we give was 75% on fee, but there have been cases that we have given 100% scholarships on tuition fee depending on the budget that we have for that year. Scholarships, we definitely open. We do not give out scholarships in parts. All scholarships are given mostly in the month of July. This year, because of COVID, we had to shift it to August, but generally June or July is the time that we give out our scholarship letters. Infrastructure and facilities, as I said, we are a fully residential university. I'll show you some photographs, but you will be amazed with the campus infrastructure, but that is the least of the things that you should be impressed with. I will rather be happy if you're impressed with our faculty, our students, the peers that you'll be studying with. But campus definitely is an awesome place to be. I love my stay on campus. I miss my stay on campus these days. Student life is amazing. I'm just rushing through these because I'm conscious of the time. But these are some photographs of our campus. There's a couple of things. This is our classroom that we have. This is again a shot from my hostel room. This is again a shot from my camera. This is again a campus view. Again a campus. These are some shots from my camera. This is a food court that we have. There are about 10 food court options that you have, right from Domino's to Burkos to everything that you can imagine is there. This is a library. This is one of my favorite parts on campus. It's called the Global Diversity Reading Room. We have students, faculty from around the world, and we celebrate the diversity in this reading room in the library. This is the hostel room. Yes, so that's about it. I think I made it in 20 minutes. So I'll be happy to take some questions now, and looking forward to your comments and feedback.
Thank you for that, Ankur. So there are some specific questions, on the chat, which I feel you would be able to answer. One of them is, do you accept transfer students from the American universities?
So we did get a lot of transfer requests this year because of COVID, and we have taken some of them. We have taken students in year 3 and year 2, which was not seen last year or year before, but this year, due to compassionate grounds, we have tried to accommodate all requests. So yes, we do, but again, it depends on the kind of credits that you have and you have done, and if you're pursuing something from our partner universities in US, UK, or Canada, then probably it becomes much more easier, because a couple of my students we transferred to year 3 were in our partner university. So you will have to send me that your documents on email, and then probably we can look into it.
Great. So that answers the transfer question, and the student was also looking to see if it's still a possibility this year itself. So I guess it'll be best communicated to you directly.
Yeah, so I'll just drop in my email ID in the chat box, and then probably they can, if I can see here, yes. So I just drop my email ID, and then please feel free to reach out to me. I'll see what I can do to help you, because we all understand this is like a very, very difficult situation for students. So if I can help you, I will definitely.
Perfect, and that'll be great. And one last question before we invite Symbiosis for their presentation. So it's a mix of, will Jindal look at the SAT? Will they take it as a replacement for the JSAT? And if students are giving the JSAT, CBSE, ISC students, or the students who are pursuing the IBDP, when do they sit for their JSAT?
Yes, so if you have SAT scores of above 1100, so we do not take score below 1100. So if you have 1100 and above, you do not need to write JSAT. But if you do not have SAT, then definitely you have to write JSAT. JSAT, as I said, generally it's a very accessible test. You can give it from your home, and dates are not a problem. You don't have to block a center or go anywhere. You just have to give a slot on your software. So generally we are expecting in the month of December, we'll start doing JSAT online, and students can register. As soon as our applications go online in the month of November, JSAT will also go online, and they can give it by I think our admission process in normal times extends up to mid of June or June end. So till June, from December to June, they have time to give JSAT.
All right, brilliant. And again, one question which we are very, very often asked is that Jindal has such a good law school, and of course, students love their political science majors, all the humanities majors, but what about, the numerically rigorous majors like economics? And also, are they going to graduate with a BA in liberal arts degree, or are they going to graduate with a BA in the specific subject or a BSc in the specific subject?
Thank you, Kritika. That's a wonderful question. Everywhere I go, I do get a law school question. That's been a case for me since last 3 years that I have been at Jindal. But yeah, law school is the most famous and the most biggest school. But you will be surprised, our economics school, we are the only university in India to have a specific school dedicated to government and public policy that offers program in economics, social science, and master level programs. We offer MA in public policy, MA in economics, then PhD program in economics. If you go through my General School of Government and Public Policy faculty profile, you'll see people from Rhodes Scholars and Yale and Stanford. So there is no problem of numeracy in general. I think a lot of my students love the way economics is taught at Jindal, and we offer a BA Honors Economics as a standalone program. So there are two programs. You can either pursue economics through the liberal arts program, and the other program is a 3-year BA Honors specifically in economics. So you rest assured, we are as good as law school. Law school definitely is our favorite school. We started from year 1. It was a founding school. But all our schools, there are 9 schools in Jindal. I think the beauty of the university, and that's why we are a globally ranked institution and now institution of eminence, is that our focus is to develop all our schools, be it the liberal arts or the law school, and the interconnectedness. So since we are a residential university, everything is interconnected. It's not that law school is 50 kilometers away from in some other part of the city, or we are in some other part of the city. We are all in a 100-acre campus. Students benefit from law school students, faculty, and similarly liberal arts. So that's not an issue for us. With regards to your second question, sorry, I forgot your second question. What
Degree,
you asking?
is it a BA in liberal arts?
Degree offered is BA Honors in Liberal Arts and Humanities. So that's the degree we do. If you want to know the degree, that's the nomenclature we use. Definitely it will have your major and minor written on that, but the degree will remain BA Honors in Liberal Arts and Humanities.
All right, perfect. And why that question is, often a concern for students is because they wonder if a BA in liberal arts, in say majoring in economics is going to be at par with a BA in economics.
It is definitely at par with economics, because you see the credits, they're same in both the programs. So if they're going for higher education, or they want to do post graduation in US or UK or Canada, both the programs offer the same pathway. So as I said, for me, both the program students are doing fantastically well. It's just the pedagogy of teaching. Somebody is also interested in probably learning more about literature and history and art, paints and all those things along with economics. And somebody straight away wants to do economics, and I want only economics. So it depends on you, but both the programs have their own pluses and advantages. So I leave it to the student. You should look at the course structure and the credits that are offered in that program. I recommend your students to go through our JSGP website that offers BA Honors in Economics specifically, and then probably Liberal Arts School which offers economics as a major. Both are available.
Perfect. So I think, Ankur, that was brilliantly explained. Thank you for your time. And even yesterday, the students did a fantastic job. And today also, we've got some great insights into the Jindal way of learning. Thank you once again for your time.
Thank you, Kritika. It's a pleasure. And I once again tell you, I think you have done a fabulous job of getting us all together, and keep doing the good work that you're doing. I really love what you're doing.
Thank you for the time.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you
Bye.
so much.
Bye.
And
thank you.
Thank you. And now we have the Symbiosis School of Liberal Arts with us. Could I request you guys to please put your videos on? Hey Anna, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Very well. So we've had Ashoka, Kriya, Flame, and Jindal speak about their liberal arts curriculum, what is unique about their universities, what is it that the students can, look out for specifically in those colleges. And now we're waiting to hear from Symbiosis.
Sure. Just give me a minute. I'll just share my screen.
Perfect.
Has Sanam joined this call? Has she been promoted to the panelist?
So Sanam has some internet issues. So if you could just run through the presentation, that would be great. If you want me to, let me know.
No, sure. I can go ahead. If there's something to add, just stop me there.
Thank you.
So, good evening, everybody. We are Symbiosis School for Liberal Arts. My name is Asif, and I'm a third-year SSLA student. I am also joined with Sana, who is a second year SSL student, and Ahan, who's a fourth year SSL student. And we also have our Deputy Director, Dr. Shweta Deshpande. And all four of us will, like Sana and I will go through the presentation, and if there are any questions at the end of it, all four of us can address those questions. So addressing the basic question of why liberal arts. So in a world which is dominated by very in-depth knowledge of certain specializations, liberal arts comes into the picture when you look at a very, very well-rounded education, and when you look for something which the future is looking for in terms of students. So when you look at the multidisciplinary aspect of it, SSLA again, liberal arts, the degree liberal arts basically allows you to study different disciplines at the same time. So you're not narrowed down by the knowledge of one certain specialization in your undergrad. And especially I feel like in these years, the learning curve is something which is extremely important. So when we talk about strong academic rigor, foundation for an uncertain future, interactive learning environment, everything comes into the picture when you paint the picture of a liberal arts college. Addressing the basic question of why liberal arts at SSLA. So SSLA focuses on three of its major components, which are employability, critical thinking, and interactive learning. So in terms of employability, SSLA has played a much more important role in terms of hard skills and soft skills. So our students are not just prepared for like the basic smart skills or the hard skills, but at the same time, we are prepared for leadership positions. All the clubs, all the cells that SSLA has are completely student run, completely student initiated and driven. So there again, students learn how to actually make a cell run and not just start it or actually administer it. When it comes to the industry connect, the location of SSLA is extremely important. Pune is a student hub. At the same time, it also focuses a lot on jobs, and in terms of professional experiences, Pune provides a great time to actually build onto these things in your undergrad. Looking at the core domain knowledge, so the degree of liberal arts in Symbiosis is something which is very globally relevant. It's a 4-year liberal arts program. We are the pioneers of 4 years liberal arts program in India. So when it comes to the courses and the electives and the major minor specializations that we have, again, it's something which is very globally relevant, and having something like that as a part of your undergrad curriculum, I feel like adds on to a lot of knowledge and a lot of experience in terms of how you want to go about after your undergrad. Looking at the critical thinking aspects, so we have certain courses which actually work on your critical thinking and on the way you analyze things rather than just like learning and basically mugging up facts. So in classes, we're actually propelled to debate, we're propelled to discuss, we're propelled to analyze things rather than just like learn them and in a teacher-student medium. That's not how classes work here. And critical thinking is not just by the courses, but at the same time, the way courses are taught. So when you look at our pedagogy, it's again something which is very, very interesting and very new in the way undergraduate works. So our assessments and our evaluations are not the typical, tests and exams in terms of theoretical aspects. We have presentations, we have films, we have debates, discussions, panelists in terms of how we go about our assignments so that the students cover each and every base of that one particular topic and not just the theoretical aspect of it. Coming to the interactive learning. In terms of our classrooms don't really follow a very typical teacher dictated and student as a listener model. We have a much more co-constructed model of a classroom in front of us. So it's not just the teacher teaching you certain things, but the students equally participate in terms of what knowledge and what kind of theories they want to go about and how they want a class to function. This is extremely, this becomes very, very easy for us because we have a faculty-student ratio 1:20. So we have smaller classrooms, which again helps us in debates, in discussions, and in actually bringing out between the lines aspects of certain courses and disciplines. We have hands-on experiential learning even in classrooms, and like I mentioned, we have presentations, we have films, we have certain debates which actually lead us to learning much more which a classroom aims for. Coming to the course structure, just one second. Coming to the course structure, so we have a 4-year full-time BA BSc Liberal Arts Honours Degree program. Your BA or BSc depends on your major specialization. So suppose you have a major in mathematics or computer science, you graduate with a BSc Liberal Arts Honours Degree program. But if you have a major in IR or a major in psychology or anthropology, you graduate with a BA Liberal Arts Honours degree program. We have 8 semesters which are spread across 4 years. We complete a minimum of 24 to 28 credits per semester. And these credits are basically acquired by students in terms of 4 ways. There are core courses, there are elective courses, major minor specializations, and students also tend to take on extra academic pressure here. So we have extra courses and audit courses. We offer major specializations in 12 disciplines, minor in 20 disciplines. So students go about it in 3 ways. Either you can have 1 major, 1 minor, or you can have 1 major, double minor, or you can have a double major. So these are the 3 ways you can go about choosing your major minor combinations, and like the permutation combination can work according to your interest. Now 4 components of SSLA which actually add on to the experiential learning and the industry aspect of it are these 4 pillars. So the first is our community outreach project, second is the internship report, third is our seminar paper, and fourth is the dissertation. So students basically graduate at the end of their 4 years with a minimum of 198 credits and a minimum of 50 different courses. Now I'll be going further into how the core courses actually work in SSLA. So like I mentioned, that these are mandatory basic courses which add on to your foundational learning. And this is something which is again adding to the holistic component of our degree and our program, because these courses are spread across the disciplines. So they are interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary in nature. Some of the examples that we have of core courses on the screen for you are rhetorical and creative writing, mathematics and statistics, short stories from around the world, current economic and business analysis, introduction to multicultural worldviews, etc. Moving on to the elective courses. So elective again are your mandatory courses, but these offer flexibility in terms of choices and in terms of your interest and how you want to go about it in that particular semester. These are again interdisciplinary in nature and form a very, very essential component of our program here at SSLA. So some of the electives that we have are politics and media, which again, as the name suggests, is a combination of political science and media studies. We also have electives like the good and evil of psychology, which is a combination of philosophy and your psychology courses. Moving on to the major minor specializations. So like I mentioned that we have 12 major specializations and 20 minor specializations. Your majors can also be taken up as your minors. And in terms of choosing your majors and minors, your class 11, like your school marks or your school stream doesn't really matter. So even if you haven't studied math in your 11th and 12th and you want to go for a major in math or a minor in math in SSLA, you're completely allowed to do that. Some of the majors that we offer are philosophy, English, international relations, economics, psychology, sociology, etc. And some of the minors that we have are physics, law, biology, film studies, history. So when it comes to specific minors like women and gender studies and peace and conflict studies, these again are very exclusive and essential to our program structure here, because these are not offered anywhere else in the country as minors. So this again adds on to our program and the essence of how we want to develop these newer courses which are coming about, and how it's extremely important to do that. So a major aim of us in designing core courses, elective courses, and major minor specializations in this particular way is that, so the cores and electives provide you the breadth of certain courses, whereas the major minor goes into the depth. So the combination of these two things is something which is very much required in a world like today where we're sitting, which is extremely, extremely uncertain, and we don't know when it's actually going back to the old normal. So even in the world that is progressing, in the way the world is getting shaped, I feel like uncertainty is something which will always, always move. And the way program structure here at SSLA is designed, I feel like it gives you a certain amount of standard and a certain amount of surety in terms of the basis being covered by all the courses that you're doing over here. Now coming to the 4 essential pillars of SSLA, like I described in the beginning, we have the community outreach project and the final year seminar paper on this slide. So the community outreach project is basically designed with the aim of making our students much more critically conscious. So in this program, students are required to step out and actually work, directly work with one of the sectors of the community. Then they're asked to write a report on that. So basically this helps in actually making them conscious of how social conditions affect the world outside of the 4 walls of SSLA. Coming to the final year seminar paper, this is something which is written by students with the aim of keeping their themes and different learnings that they've had in their 2-3 years of SSLA before their 4th year. So this can be across any topic, any themes. And this is important because a seminar paper is written by students, with the aim of getting published. So this again makes it extremely academically important for students to write and go about the whole process. Looking at the internships and the final year research projects. So these two components are based on your major specialization. So like in my case, I have a psychology major. So my internship and my final year research project will have to be on like psychology topics. Internships again provide you an industry-based knowledge of how the professional world and things outside SSLA and outside college spaces work in the actual professional spaces. So some of our students are placed at the Indian, like some of the students did internships at the Indian Express, Vogue, Fortis Memorial, etc. When it comes to a final year research project, so this bases a lot of importance in terms of academic rigor and in terms of your research capabilities and abilities that you've gathered here in the last 3 years of SSLA. This is written in your 4th year, like the final submission is in your 4th year, but students work on your on their dissertation from their 2nd year. So it's like a work of literally like 3 years of this 1 year. Like I mentioned, these two have to be on your major specializations. Coming to the aspect of life at SSLA, so we have certain academic initiatives like the International Big History Association, SSLA Collaborative for Asian Anthropology, International Gender Conference, SSLA Psychological Association, etc. So these are initiatives which are taken with other universities abroad and add on to the academic as well as to the learning aspects of how students go about these things. When it comes to International Gender Conference, we had great speakers coming in and talking about different aspects of gender. So these again add on to the academic and the learning space that SSLA is. Moving on to the clubs at SSLA. So this is something which is very extremely important and interesting to us because clubs are completely student run, student initiative and student driven. So we have the dance club, we have, it could be Verse, the Filmmakers Guide, it could be Verse as a poetry club. We have the karaoke club, we have a comedy club, and we have academia, model imaginations, debate club, etc. Moving on to sports at SSLA. So we have basketball teams, table tennis teams, cricket, volleyball, football, etc. And we have courts to practice these games right next to our college. So like the physical proximity is not at all a problem here. And basically it's like sports is something which is extremely important to SSLA, and we have great teams and who are very, very enthusiastic about the sports they are participating in. Moving on to annual student events at SSLA. So we have the club initiation week, which is basically a week right after the first years join college. So this week, all the clubs and all the cells basically introduce themselves to the first years, and they tell them about the agenda and the kind of work that they do so that the students can make a better choice in terms of what they want to join. We have the SSLA Summit, which is an MUN conference. SSLA Presents theatre production is something which like constantly is interesting and very, very proactive in terms of the things that they present to college. We have the Interbatch Cultural and Sports Weekend, in which all batches compete in certain sports activities. And we end the year with our graduation and our red carpet. And Traditional Day is something which happens around November, but again is like the highlight of our 1 year, like our entire year of SSLA. So these are the events. SSLA also has certain publications. So we have The Opportunist, we have the newsletter, we have Confluence, which is JIT's Confluence Journal of Interdisciplinary Studies. We have a theatre magazine, which is Sutradhar, and we have sports magazines, etc. Coming to the internationalization aspect of SSLA, so we have international partners with the University of British Columbia, DePaul University, Lingnan University, etc. And we also offer semester abroad and summer exchanges program. And since we know that that can be extremely, like for some people, financially taxing, so we also have people coming, like faculties coming in from these universities to our college to actually deal and like, you know, teach us certain aspects of certain courses. So internationalization is something which is extremely important because I think our program is designed in a way that is globally relevant. So it's good to keep students in that loop of constantly being like, you know, talk to people who are in the same field and working on the same lines. Coming on to life after SSLA. So like you can see in the pie chart, we have a difference of 52% of students going for higher education and 48% going for placements. Even in terms of placements, most of our students who actually choose to work after their undergrad is for having a work or a professional experience and not placements as their end goals. So like most of the students who go for placements just go for the experience aspect of it, is not something that they're aiming for a one-time job. Looking at our higher education, some of our students for their masters or their further studies have gone to the London School of Economics and Political Science, Columbia University, Australian National University, New York Film Academy, Berkeley, etc. And for placements, some of our students are placed at Teach for India, News Laundry, Global Education Resources, the World Bank, etc. So now when you look at the ratio, the 52 and 48 is more or less like a 50-50 ratio. And that is something which basically defines how we prepare our students, because at the end of 4 years, it's a very student-centered decision whether you want to go for a further studies program or placements, because SSLA prepares you for both. So it's in the hands of the students at the end of their 4 years, how they want to go about it. Last but not least, I'll just take you through our admission process. So basically students can register for our SET exam, but at the same time, we also accept your SAT scores. Coming to the SET program structure. So SET is basically the symbiosis entrance test. You can register for the test on our website mentioned on the slide, set-test.org. The registration starts somewhere in the first week of January 2021. And registration closes somewhere in the second week of April 2021. Like, these are tentative dates that we've given you for the next year. And the SET general exam is held somewhere around the first Saturday of May. Then after these students get shortlisted, we move on to the second part of our admission process, which is the personal interaction PI. That happens somewhere in the last week of May, and the merit list for this personal interaction is out in the first 3 weeks of June. So from the first to the third week of June. And finally, moving on to the course commencement, we have our induction program somewhere in the third week of July, and our last week of July is when the course usually starts. So like I said, these are tentative dates, but just to give you an idea as to how we are placed in terms of admissions. And that's it. In case like this, with this we come to the end of a short presentation that we wanted to like take you guys through the admission process and life at SSLA, life beyond SSLA. If you have any further questions, these are the social media handles and our websites mentioned on this slide. You can always get back to us. In case you have any questions right now, we are very happy to answer those.
Okay, thank you so much, Anna. That was very, very detailed. We do have some specific questions, and one of them is, how many minors can one take along with a major?
Okay, so like I mentioned, there are 3 ways to go about choosing your majors and minors. So if you want to take one major, then there is a choice of one major, one minor. But in case you do want to go for like a double minor course, you can always go for one major and double minor. At the same time, we also offer you to do a double major.
All right. So a lot of flexibility there. And, talking about flexibility, the other question is, if a student starts with a particular major, but, somewhere into that journey, they realize that major is not working for them, or even a particular course is not working for them, then how do you guys go about guiding those students?
Okay, so our first year is completely foundational, and our major minor courses are chosen in their second years. So after choosing your major minors, we are usually given a week or 2 in terms of sitting in classes and actually understanding how the course is planned and how the papers go about it. And the students have their choice in changing in the first 2-3 weeks, if I'm not wrong, in the first 2-3 weeks of changing their major minors. But again, that process is extremely flexible, all thanks to our admin department, because I feel like they understand where students come from in terms of choosing their major minors, and it's a huge decision. So I feel like that is something which is made very, very easy by our admin department. But yes, to answer your question objectively, I feel like we're given 2 to 3 weeks in their beginning of second year to decide if they actually want to continue with the majors and minors they have chosen.
All right. And what about SAT, standardized tests? Do you guys look at it at all?
Yeah, so I mentioned in the admission slide that there are 2 ways to go about it. Either you can send in your SAT scores, or you can also sit for our SET exam, which is the symbiosis entrance test. And the procedure is SET, then you sit for your personal interaction, you have a writing ability test, and then finally a merit list is out.
The other thing that students were asking, when the students were registering, a lot of them had put in questions that, they had doubts with. So I'm just, picking some of those out and asking you right now. Sure. So one of those questions was that, when a student sits for the SET exam, do they have the choice for using that SAT for, say, symbiosis, BBA, or the liberal arts? And how do they go about making that choice and informing the college?
All right, so I'll give you a brief explanation of it, and I feel like Shweta ma'am will be able to explain this process better to you. But SET is something which is common to all Symbiosis campuses, the Symbiosis entrance test, and the cutoff of each college is something which is dependent on the applications that come for those colleges. So I think Shweta ma'am can delve into it better. She'll know the specifics much better.
Thank you. Thank you, Anna. Hi, Kritika. I'll take over that one. So yes, SET is applicable to all Symbiosis colleges, right? It's a Symbiosis entrance test. However, for the engineering, medicine, law, as well as the general program, there are different set exams. Depending upon the student choice, you have to appear for these independently, and they are in different slots. So a student can appear for at least two of these entrance exams during the application period, and then can appear for the writing ability test as well as the interviews independently, which is hosted by these colleges.
Right, and they can do it for more than one college?
Yes, yes. So the way it works is when you register for the Symbiosis entrance test, after that you're also supposed to register to these different universities, to the different colleges of the university if you are interested in them, and then accordingly the shortlisted marks and the shortlisted candidates by the different colleges are informed, and then they can take the process forward.
All right, perfect. So that makes it very, very clear. And just one follow-up question to that.
Sure.
Students are often extremely tensed about your interview, the personal interview and the group discussion. So whatever tips that you could give us students here, it would be very, very helpful.
Sure. So first of all, it's not an interview. We like to refer to it as a personal interaction. So students, and you have our students here with us, the essential idea of an interaction is to see what is it that the student is interested in. It's not about trying to understand how much knowledge you have about specific domains, because if you already have the knowledge, you don't really need to come to us. The idea is how interested you are and what is it you are interested in, what kind of skills do you want to hone, because a liberal arts program is essentially about being able to connect information, connect content, and be ready for this 21st century, which most of us are unsure of what it is bringing towards us. Right. So the interaction is really basically understanding who the student is, So if it was Aina, we just want to know who is Aina and what does Aina want from SSLA, right? And how does Aina contribute to SSLA? The student contribution to SSLA is extremely important, because if you look at our students, they are the ones who lead most of our programs. So we have an admissions team. You can see Aina, you have Ahan, they're all our students. They are the ones who lead. I'm just there, standing with them to help them if they lose out on a particular question. So right. Students who come to SSLA, for them, it's more about learning and being who they are. And I think this is what is different for us, for SSLA, if you compare us to any other liberal arts program in India or outside. We're completely student-run, student-centric. There is a structure, and our students learn, the nitty-gritties of administration, of democracy, of politics, of the society, completely in an experiential format. And I think that is what gets them ready for the future, right? So anybody who's interested in coming to us, you should be ready to explore who you are. And you will have all the opportunities to, express and learn with us. So SSLA is not about teaching, it's about co-learning. It's a process where we learn together. So I hope that will help. And I think I just wanted to add a little bit when you asked the question with regards to changing your majors and minors. Since the first year is extremely foundational and students also do not pick up their major minor till the end of their first year, what is important is they go through a counseling process. It's a subject specialization counseling through the second semester that they go through, right? So every specialization in charge, along with an industry personnel, talks to the cohort, explaining to them the program, the course, the opportunities that they will have in terms of internships, and even the future in terms of higher studies or employability. So students, by the time they choose their major minors, are very, very sure. We've never had more than 2 or 3 students really who have really wanted to switch their majors and minors, because they also get to sit in classes when they're in first year. Right, so they can sit in these specialization classes to explore what the subject is about, if they like it or not. So because they consciously make these choices, it's very rare that they really want to make a change.
Right. And that's why they are studying the liberal arts, or, that's why the liberal arts works brilliantly, because you get to make
Yes.
informed choices. Right.
Yes, definitely.
So I think that perfectly answers all the questions. Just one more question.
Sure.
Because you said that Symbiosis allows students to apply to multiple colleges within the university, and they just need to declare that. So even when the students are coming for the personal interaction, I mean, is it a problem if they've applied to more than one college? Are they going to be asked that, oh, you've applied for liberal arts, but at the same time, you've also applied for BBA, and how does that work?
Okay. So we don't ask students if they have applied to other colleges at all. It's the students' will and choice if they inform us. But we've never tried to, figure out if they have applied in other colleges. The only thing that happens is sometimes the dates may clash for their personal interaction. And that is the time when they need to tell us that, I have an application that I have put in for another college, and, I have an interview at this point in time. So can you be flexible? And even there, students have the free choice to choose their interviews slots. So it's not really difficult for them in terms of when they want to appear. There is a time frame that we have about 7 to 10 days during which we hold our personal interactions, and students can make their choices. So it's really never a problem.
All right, because students want like choices and more choices and just
Yes.
more choices.
Definitely.
So, that's why this question was repetitively asked, during the registration process.
No problems at all. No problems at all.
For answering that, and to the entire team of Symbiosis Liberal Arts, we would like to extend our gratitude and thank you for your time. And this was a very, very detailed presentation, and I think it's going to definitely help our students and parents.
Thank you so much, Kritika, for having us. I think as, the Jindal faculty spoke about it, you're doing a wonderful job. Thank you so much for having us. And we'll be happy to answer any of your questions. If you want, so you have the details, you can connect the students to us as well, and we'll be happy to answer.
Brilliant.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Anna. Thank you, Ahan. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kritika. Yeah. Bye-bye.
My pleasure. Completely our pleasure. And thank you to all our students and parents, who sat through the entire presentation. I know it was a long one, but the entire idea was to bring all the colleges under one roof and get as many queries answered. So thanks a ton, and stay safe and have a great evening. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.